Hi everyone, I hope you guys are doing good. So as a part of our Python tutorial series, in last lecture we learned about Python decorators, right? Now in this lecture we will learn about Python wrapping and unwrapping of functions inside the decorators. Okay, so without wasting time, let's start. So this is the notepad where I have prepared some scripts to demo you guys how we can do Python wrapping and unwrapping in decorators. Okay, so we have the decorator function. Okay, so this is my decorator function which will do the decoration, and then I have a function which needs decoration, right? So this is my function which needs decoration. Function name is number function, right? So this is a number function. I'm passing a argument called number, right? And then I'm returning the number from this function. That's it, right? So there's no other functionality, just I'm passing a number and I'm returning that, right? And this is a comment which I have added in this function, right? So to add the comment inside the function, so this is the syntax. You can take it into the three single quotes, right? Start from three single quotes and end from three single quotes, and in between you can give the comment for this functions, right? So this is the way to add doc. We say doc, right? In terms of metadata. So this is the way to add comment or doc inside the function, right? Okay, and this is my decorator function. So decorator function is the data type function, and I'm passing a function inside that, right? So inside that there is a wrapper function defined in that, and I'm taking all the arguments which is passed from this function, right? Function, whatever function I'm passing, right? So here I'm passing an argument, right? So we are taking args and kwargs, right, which we learned in last lecture, and then I have given a print statement, right? And then in the x variable I'm taking the output of this function, right, which is passed, and then returning the value of output, right, x, right, and then I'm returning the wrapper function, right? So this is my decorator function, and this is my function which needs decoration. Okay, so let me just define this function. Let me just copy this and let me open idle shell. Okay, so this is my idle shell, right? And let me just restart myself first. Okay, and let me just paste it. Okay, so this is my wrapper function. Enter, enter. Okay, so my wrapper function got defined, right? Now I'm defining my function which needs decoration, and I have given the decorator function name, right, using at the rate attribute, right? So using at the rate data type function, I am decorating this function, right? So let me just define this function. Let me just copy and paste it here in the idle shell. Enter, enter, right? So my decorator function data type function is defined, and my function which needs decoration number function is defined, right? Now to call this function, we already know we can use this number function and pass the argument, right? So let's call this function first. Okay, so let's call this decorated function. Okay, so this is giving me the output, right? So this is giving me inside wrapper function, so which is coming from here, this print statement inside wrapper function. Then we are executing the function which is passed, right? And the original function has a print statement, right? So this is the print statement. This is a number function with value 2. So this is coming from this original function, and also I'm returning the value, right, from this function, right? And that return value is saved into x, and that is returned from the wrapper function, right? So that value is also getting returned, right? So this is the way we call this decorator function, right? Now there are some dunder attributes. Okay, so these are by default Python by default attributes defined, right, which saves some metadata about the functions. Okay, so there are many dunder attributes. Okay, so I'm just giving you demo of some of them. Okay, so this is the number function, right? So it should give me the name of this number function, right? If I call this dunder attribute number function dot, so it is called using dot operator and then the dunder attribute, right? So this is the way we can call this dunder attribute. So let me just call this number function dot dash dash name. Okay, so actually it should give me the number function name, right? So that is the function name of this number underscore fnc, but it is giving me a wrapper, right? So it's not giving me the number function name. Instead, when I'm calling number function dot underscore underscore name underscore underscore this dunder attribute, so it is giving me wrapper. Why? Because this function is wrapped, right? So this function is wrapped, right? This function is decorated, so it is always giving me the function which is decorating this function, right? So that's why it is giving me number function dot this dunder attribute name, it is giving me as wrapper, right? Because wrapper is the function which is decorating this function, right? But this is an issue, right? So I want to know the original function name in this metadata, right? But I'm getting the wrapper function name because this function is decorated, right? Again, similar issues we have if we call this doc, right? So doc number function dot doc, then it should give me the comment which is inside this number function, right? So doc is used to call the comment inside the function, right? Name is used to call the function name, right? For the function, right? So these are the dunder attributes. So let me just do enter. So it is not returning me anything, right? It should return me this comment, but it is not returning me anything, right? Because it is pointing to this wrapper function, and wrapper function has no comments, right? So it is not returning me any comments, right? Let's check another. So quality name, this qual name, this is also a dunder attribute which just return the detailed name, right? That's it. So this is also pointing to see data type function dot wrapper, right? Data type function dot local dot wrapper. That means it is pointing to this data type function dot wrapper function, right? Which is the decorator function, right? It's not returning this number function name, right? So then another one is this number function. If I just call this number function, okay, without any attribute, so let's see what happens. So number function is decorated, right? So when I am doing enter, so it is giving me again this data type function dot local dot wrapper, right? So it is giving me function name as this data type function dot wrapper, which is the decoration function name, right? And not the function name of this number function, right? Right. So these are the issues, right? So these are the issues, right? So actually this, when I'm calling this dunder attribute, so this should give the metadata, that means name, comments, name, right, of the original function, right? This number function, but it is giving me the name and doc and quality name, everything from the wrapper function, right? Right? There is one more dunder attribute wrapped, right? So let's check that what happens. So number function dot wrapped, right? So this is the way to call the function, but it is saying attribute error, function object has no attribute as wrapped. Right now it has no attribute as wrapped, right? So this is one issue, right? That it is not giving me the metadata of this function which is decorated. Instead, it is giving me the metadata from the decorator function, right? That is one issue. Another issue is whenever I am calling this number function with argument, right? So it is calling this decorator function, right? It is giving me the decorated output, right? So it is giving me here I have called this, right, number function 2, so it is giving me the complete decorated output, right? But what if I just want to get the output from this function, number function, right, and not the decorated output? That means I just want the output from this individual function, right, undecorated function, right, and not the decorated output, right? But whenever I'm calling this number function, since it is already decorated, so it is always giving me the decorated output, it is not giving me undecorated output, right? To get that undecorated output, we can use this like this number function dot wrap, but that is possible using Python wraps. Okay, so there are two issues here, right? One issue is that it is not giving the metadata of original function. Another issue is we are not able to call this individual function, right, which is undecorated, right? So to solve these two issues, we are having @wraps decorators, right, which is imported from function tools in decorators. Okay, so there is a function tool package. From that we'll import this wrap decorators, and we'll just use this line @wrap, and in bracket we'll pass the function which I'm passing as an argument in the decorator function. Okay, so that is the only change. The one line this change and one line this change. One line is to import this wraps, and another line is to include this wrap attribute wrap decorator and use this function as parameter as arguments. Okay, so that should solve our problem, both problem, right? So let's try this. Okay, so let me just restart my shell. Okay, and let me just execute this first, execute this import command, right? So let me just paste it. Okay, it's imported, right? And then let me just execute this decorator function, right? So let me just paste it here, enter, enter. So our decorator function is defined, right, including wraps, right? And now our data type function is same, right? So no change in that data type function. So let me just paste it here, enter, enter, right? So data type function is defined. Now let's again check this dunder attributes. Okay, so let's check number function dot name, right? Number function dot underscore underscore name underscore underscore first. So it is now giving number function, right? Earlier it was giving the wrapper, right? Now it is giving the original function name, that is number function, right? So this problem is getting solved using this wrap decorator, right? So if you use that, then it should solve this problem. Let's check the doc, which is going to return the comment, right? So it should return this comment, right? Enter. So now see, it is returning the comment from this number function, right? This refers number function, right? So okay, now let's again check the quality name. Okay, so let me just paste it here, quality name number function dot qual name. So it is also giving number function, right? And now to call the decorated function, we can call using this, right? Number function and argument, right? Number function and argument we can call like this, right? Right, so it is giving me the decorated output, right? But what if we need only undecorated output from this function, right? So there can be two uses. One is to, if I want to debug this function, right, and I don't want the decorated output, right? I just want the output from this individual function, right? At that time it will be very useful. Other thing is, if I just want to want the output from this undecorated output from this function, original function, and not wants decorated output, that way also that can be useful, right? So to get that, you have to use this wrapped attribute, wrapped under attribute, right, which will work when you use underscore wrap, right? So if you use in your decorator function, if you use this wrap decorator, right, then you can get this individual function output using number function name dot underscore underscore wrapped underscore underscore. Okay, let me hit enter. So this is giving me the number function, right? So now it is pointing to this number function, right? Underscore underscore wrapped is pointing to this number function, right? So that is the output, right? Now to call this function, you have to pass the argument as well, right? So that will do. Now we'll call this function with the wrapped method and passing the argument, right, as 2, right? Enter. So now see, it is giving me, this is a number function with value 2 and the output as 2, right? Which is the output of this function, right? Undecorated function output, right? So we understood, right? Using wrap, it solves two issues. One is it shows the original attributes metadata, original functions metadata, right? Another thing is decorated output we can get if we call like this, right? And we can get undecorated or original function output if we can call like this, number function dot wrapped, right? So for that, this wrap parameter is very important. Okay, so you have to just import it from the function tool and you have to just use it like this, define it like this before your wrapper function. So this is a wraps decorator, okay, applied on this wrapper function. Okay, and yeah, next we will understand about the decorator nesting. Okay, so we have already seen that there is a decorator function, right? And we pass the function, and it returns the decorated output, right? But what happens if this is the function, right? So this is my decorator function, right? So in the decorator function, my decorator function name is doubler function, which is returning the output multiplied by 2, right? So whatever function is output, right, whatever function is giving the output, it is returning the double of that, right? So that's why it is called doubler function. Okay, so I've defined a doubler function, which is my wrapper function, and the original function is just returning the number whichever I'm passing, so it is returning that number, right? So now this function number function is there, so I've applied doubler function wrapper, right, which will take the output of this number function, right? So here this number function will be called, it output will be saved in x, right, and then x will be multiplied by 2 and that will be returned, right? But what happens if we no apply two times this doubler function? So the one time they here at the rate doubler function, again I'm providing the next hierarchy of decorator, and I'm giving same decorator function name, that is doubler function. Okay, so I'm doing decoration twice, right, for this function, right? So what will happen, whatever output of this function, that will get doubled when it will pass to the decorator, right? And that input will be passed again to the decorator, and then again it will be doubled, right? So two times it will be passed to the decorator function, right? This function will be passed to first this decorator function. Whatever output will come in the from the first decorator function, that will go as an input to the second decorator function, and it will give the final output, right? Let's try this one. Okay, let's check the output. So let me restart the cell. Okay, and now let me just import first this wraps. Okay, so let me do enter, and then let me just define this wrapper function quickly. Okay, so this is my decorator function, which is a doubler function, right? Saving the output in x and then returning the twice of the output, right? So this is my doubler function, right? And then this is the function which needs decoration, right? And it is returning just number, and then I'm applying twice doubler functions as a decorator to this function. Okay, so let me just paste it here, right? So this is my number function and applying twice this doubler function as decorator, right? So let me enter, right? Now I have to call this function number function, right? So let's call this number function, and what input will provide us 2, right? So what should it return, tell me, right? So it should return double of that, right? And again double of that, right? So two times it will be doubled, 2 will be doubled as 4, and then 4 will be doubled as 8, right? So what should be the output, 8, right? So this is the print function. You can see twice it is printing inside wrapper function, right? Why? Because we have applied twice this doubler function, right? So it is giving me two times this print statement, right? And one time this it is passed to the doubler function, right? So this print statement is from this original number function, right? And output, see the output is 8, so I'm giving is as a 2 and I'm getting output as 8. How? 2 is multiplied, 2 is doubled, right? So that so this doubler is giving me output as 4, right? 4 is passed as input to again this doubler function, output is 8, right? 4 into 2, 8, right? So we can see here the example, right? So here the nesting of decorator function, right? I just want to demo you guys how decorator function can be nested, right? And the flow always will start from here, right? And it will go upward, right? Let's see the second example, right? So there is a doubler function which is same. I have also defined a tripler function, right, which is returning the triple of the output. Whatever input is given, so it will return the triple of the input as output. Okay, so this is a triple function, three times, right? Doubler function is doing two times, tripler function is giving three times, right? Now I'm defining same number function, and I'm just returning the number, and first I've applied doubler function and then tripler function, right? So whatever number I'm passing first, it will be doubled, and then that in output will be passed to tripler function, and then it will be tripled, right? So let's test this again quickly. So let me just restart the shell, and let me just copy this first. So first I will import wraps, right? So let me just paste it here again, enter, right? And then let me just define this doubler function, right? So let me paste it here. So this is my doubler function, which is returning twice of the result, right? And then there is a tripler function, right, which is returning thrice of the input, right? So I'm defining tripler function. Tripler function is also defined, right? So doubler function, tripler function, both defined. Two wrapper function, right? Two decorator functions we have, right? Now I am applying first doubler function and then tripler function, right? So this way, this is the flow, right? So flow is always upward, right? So this is my number function. Let me just copy and paste it here, enter, enter, right? So my original function is defined, right? Now I'll call this function, right? So I'll call this function number underscore fnc, and in bracket I'll give 2, okay, as argument, right? So what should it give me output, right? So first it should be doubled, 2 into 2 4, right? So 4 is the output of this doubler function, that will be passed as an input to the tripler function. So 4, right, and tripler function will give output 4 into 3 12, right? So output should be 12, right? So again you see two times the print statement, right? So it is going in this first doubler function. Doubler function has also a print statement, tripler function also has a print statement, right? And this print statement, this is coming from this original function, right? And the output is 12. So 2 into 2 4, 4 into 3 12, right? So I hope you guys understood how we can do nesting in the decorator function, right? So I hope you guys like this lecture. If you guys like this lecture, please subscribe my channel. Thank you guys.